One of the things that we are notoriously known for, and we very willingly accept as horse people, is that we take better care of our horses than we do ourselves. But the fact of the matter is that we don't eventually start putting on our own oxygen mask, our own physical issues will start to impact negatively, of course, our horses as well. And so in today's video, I'm going to take you through a couple simple and sustainable things that you can do every single day to get to feeling better physically, mentally, and emotionally. So let's get into it. For anyone new here, my name is Colton Woods. I want to welcome you to the channel. Today, we're going to try something new, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments if this is something that you would like to see more of. Basically, what we're going into today is what I'm calling the healthy horseman, because at the end of the day, horsemanship to me is not just a way to train a horse, but it's everything we do with our horses and in our own lives. And part of that comes down to how do we take care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because if we are not taking care of ourselves as horsemen and as horsewomen, then we cannot be at our best to serve our horses. But also, let's be honest, we're going to be better off if we start taking care of ourselves the way we should be. We're going to be able to serve our spouses, our husbands, our wives, our kids, our co-workers. We're going to be able to serve our communities and everyone else around us. And if you won't do it for yourself, if you won't go out there and say, you know what, I deserve to feel better physically and mentally and emotionally, but I'll do it for my horse, then go do it. Because today what I want to dive into with you is a couple simple, sustainable things that you can start doing on a daily basis. A couple of them you don't have to do every single day, but you can do a couple times a week. And because about 6-7 years ago, I was still full-time training horses. That's all that we were doing, or that I was doing. And we started in on this path of saying, hey, I've got to take better physical care of my body, because some of the hard laborious work that comes with riding colts and problem horses and the physical labor that comes with running that full time as a business was starting to catch up with me. But later on, got into teaching clinics and starting to see my students having a lot of the same issues, even recreational riders having a lot of the same issues. How many of us have lower back pain? How many of us have lower back pain? Right? Almost all of us. And there's a couple other things that we can do that are so simple that will help us feel better on a daily basis, and we'll be able to better work with our horses. So at the end of the day, let's go ahead and get into it. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that like and subscribe button. And let me know in the comments. We haven't done a healthy horseman type episode, but there's a lot that I've got in my head to be able to share with you that could be really helpful to you guys on your journey. So let me know if you're interested in hearing more about that, or even if you have specific types of questions. All right, so we're gonna start right from the very beginning on one of the best ways to get your day started. And a lot of us probably have a very similar routine where we get up, we go to the restroom, we get dressed, and we might even head to our kitchen. And at least that's what I do. And I come in here and I grab this cup, I throw a block of ice in it, I fill it up with water. And because the number one thing that we need to be doing right when we start the day is to start rehydrating our body. Our body has been busy all night long repairing cells and really pushing and pulling water and minerals through our system, so that way we can be ready for the next day. And so a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna drink a glass of water. But here's how you can take it a step further to really help your body out. I'm gonna explain why this works here in a second. But I use this electrolyte powder. You guys can get it on Amazon, or maybe I can link it in the description below. I'll try to do that for you guys. Dr. Berg's electrolyte powder. Okay, this stuff, one, tastes really good, but two, here's the thing: there's no added sugar. And you guys are gonna find I'm full on health freak about some of this stuff, because I think that what we put in our body, just like what we put in our horses, is what we get out. And we need to be very mindful of that. So this is no added sugar. It's got these trace minerals in here because this is what our body needs to thrive. And personally, I learned this lesson the hard way, where I was going to the chiropractor. I was having some lower back issues and I was trying to get that fixed. And even the chiropractor, who's a very holistic one, he's not just popping, cracking, and just like, he said, your body's super tight and the manipulation in the physical stuff isn't quite cutting it. You have to end up, you're probably deficient in something. He's the one that recommended this to me. And what ended up being the key was the potassium and the magnesium to help loosen things up through my body. It was a game changer. So I drink this every day and I start my day with it to make sure that my body has that. And it's such an easy way, and it tastes good. I don't really like water all by itself. I never have. And so this helps. And then I also keep a scoop of this in my big thermos throughout the day, because here's the thing that I learned, and I'm a black coffee drinker through and through, and I try to put limitations to where I try not to drink coffee after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which, believe it or not, is hard because I could drink coffee in 98-degree weather. But here's the thing with coffee is that, and I'll double check this exactly and put it up on the screen, but what I learned, and this was last week, is that coffee actually pulls away from the sodium and the potassium in your system. And so if you're drinking coffee throughout the day, you're depleting yourself of some of these vital minerals that you have to be feeling better, for your body to be operating. And so it's really important that we're giving ourselves, making sure that we're supporting our body with these trace minerals. And this is just an easy way to go about doing that. And so I start that through. Big thing is, guys, here's we're starting with hydrating. We're starting with adding the essential minerals that we need back in our system. But the other thing too is that we got to stay hydrated throughout the day. And most of us need like 77 ounces. We need like basically 10 cups of water per day. But if you're training horses, if you're doing stuff that's physical, has a lot of physical labor to it, you need more water than that. And you might even need more minerals than that because of what your body's using, which is why I keep that electrolyte in my thermos throughout the day. So I'm constantly replenishing. And the other thing is, you don't have to just drink water, right? You can drink milk and orange juice. Those are two other really good sources to be able to rehydrate your body. Coffee does not rehydrate you, right? That is not going to work. I'm sorry, all those horse trainers that live on coffee. It's just not going to do it. All right. So with that being said, let's move on to the next. I know. You're going to look behind me. You're like, I don't have time to go to the gym. But I'm going to start just with the punchy point on this one, and then we'll get into the benefits here. The fact of the matter is that I don't care whether you ride trail horses or you ride performance horses or you're somewhere in between, but we require our horses to be athletes. Our horses need to be athletes. If they're carrying a person around on their back, that they're doing athletic things, whether they're doing long miles on the trail, they're loping or circles in the arena, they're jumping fences, whatever it is. Our horses are athletes, and when we're working with them to develop their mind and their body and their emotions, they are in an athletic training program. And as their trainer, right, even if you're an amateur rider or recreational rider, you are always training your horse in some capacity. So you, by nature, are a trainer as well. And as a trainer, you have to lead by example. We need to be making sure that we're taking responsibility as the horse's trainer to make sure that we're in the best shape possible, to make our horse's job easier, to be able to be better at communicating with our horse. The fact it's simple common sense that when we are in better shape, we are able to ride our horses better. And when we can ride our horses better, it makes our horse's job easier. I'm not saying that you need to go to the gym 6-7 days a week and spend 2 hours in the gym. Basic science shows the minimum 3 days a week. And any of us can find 3 days a week that we can go to the gym and lift heavy weights, not just get on the treadmill and walk for 30 minutes scrolling on TikTok. That's not what we're saying, right? Getting in the gym for 45 minutes and doing a workout that involves lifting heavy weights. And that includes the ladies too, because there is scientific proof that, and here's the long-term benefit, and then we'll get into the short-term benefits. But the long-term benefits, there's a direct correlation between having muscle mass, right? Which is when you build muscle, you're putting oxygen in throughout your body because you're working out. Maybe you're meditating, you're doing an ice bath, all that sort of stuff. But when you're working out, you're breathing heavy, you're getting oxygen pumped into your muscle mass, making sure your body stays oxygenated, right? That fights off disease. And particularly when you build muscle mass down the road, there's a direct correlation between building muscle mass and maintaining long-term cognitive ability, right? So that means staying sharp as a tack and not making yourself susceptible to having memory loss, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, those types of things. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of us as horse people can be guilty of having a pretty trashy diet and not taking care of ourselves and working long hours in the barn where, yeah, we might have the stamina to go all day, but maybe we're pretty lean down, right? And we're not building that muscle mass because our jobs, here's the thing, riding your horse is not a workout. Okay, your body adjusts to that. That's not muscle building. Okay, we might have legs of steel and all those sorts of things, but riding your horse is not equivalent to going in the gym and picking up heavy things for 45 minutes for the intentional fact that I'm going to build muscle mass and get stronger. Because the short-term benefits of this, guys, is that, it drastically improves your mood. It increases your metabolism and improves your metabolism and kickstarts it and gets it going. You're going to sleep better. And all of us as horse people could use some better sleep. And the other thing too is it's going to decrease stress. It's going to lower your cortisol. And especially if you're a horse professional, we all could use a little bit of that in our lives. And it's also going to improve your immune system. All of these things are drastically positive. All of these things are things that we should be signing up for. And the fact of the matter is we just need to do it 3 days a week. Get in the gym and lift heavy stuff. Here's the thing, it's not just what we do, it's how we do it. And I know as well as you do that you're making sure that your horse has the best nutrition, that your horse has fresh water, and your horse is staying hydrated. Maybe you're even putting electrolytes in your horse's water, your horse's feed, and you're making sure your horse has an exercise program. This isn't stuff that we already do for our horses, but we have to start doing for ourselves. We can go around and eat processed junk that is full of folic acid and high fructose corn syrup and all this stuff that is putting really gunky, crappy ingredients into your body, and your body's trying to synthesize junky food. And we don't want to do that. We don't need to be doing that. It's not crazy. It's called whole foods, right? And it's eating things that are healthy for us. And so my daughter has her little play toys sitting here, right? And we got a steak and we got a hamburger, and it's hard to go wrong with beef, right? And we won't get into like grass-fed beef versus grain-fed beef. Maybe you guys can start a beef argument in the comments about that. But the other thing too, that I'm a pretty simple guy. I look at food as fuel for my body. And so I love it to taste good. My wife is an amazing cook, but I'm pretty simple creature when it comes into food. And I think as horse trainers and as horse professionals, we need it to be simple because we're busy, right? And so getting up every morning for me, and we have chickens, most of us have chickens or have clients that have chickens, and you can easily get farm fresh eggs, which are tremendously healthy for you. I'll have 4 eggs in the morning, right out of the gate. I'll usually have, this is hamburger, but we're gonna have probably some sausage to go along with that, and having whole foods that have the essential ingredients that we need. But then here's the thing that I didn't know, and this is something that can be really, really helpful, because I've tried all sorts of diets over the years. I've done like a plant-based diet. I've done carnivore-based diets. And right now I'm kind of somewhere in between. Is that what I didn't realize is that fruit like bananas, strawberries, blueberries, pineapple, right? These fruits are very high in carbohydrates, right? And I think in the typical American food system, a lot of times we're taught that, oh, we need carbohydrates like pastas and breads for long-term energy. But what we can also get carbohydrates from is fresh fruit, from bananas, strawberries, blueberries, pineapples. And so I tell you, one of the best things that I love having at least once or twice a day is I will chop up some fruit into a bowl, and then we use this Texas raw honey. We got this from Walmart. It's not like this short-term sugar high. It's because like the devil is known as processed sugar, right? If we want to have a lot of physical issues in our lives, then just keep eating processed sugar. And that's one of the best things you can cut from your diet. But if you have a little bit of sweet tooth with fresh fruit and raw honey, that can give you the energy that you need to start getting throughout the day and giving your body the essential ingredients to really take care of yourself. And it's not super complicated. And the big thing is that you don't have to give up ice cream. It's just learning how to either buy healthier ice cream or make healthier ice cream. You don't have to give up the things that you necessarily love. It's just finding healthier alternatives, because you're putting that stuff into your body and it's your fuel source. You've got to take responsibility for what you're consuming, because it's directly responsible for how you're feeling. If you can't focus and you're not taking control of what you're actually putting in your body as the fuel, then it's just a no-brainer to start there and to make sure that you take responsibility for the fuel that you're putting in your body, because it's going to affect how you physically feel, how your mind and your brain feels, and how your emotions are. Just getting back to whole healthy foods is such an easy way to go about doing this. And sure, you have to cook, but guys, like cooking eggs is easy. Eating a bowl of fruit is very simple. I'm not gonna go into all the ins and outs of like what we've done over the years, but starting with this is a great way to start your day, to end your day, to eat throughout the day, right? And if you guys have other questions about different types of meal prep or recipes or things, snacks that my wife, oftentimes she'll meal prep on a Sunday and make that we have access throughout the week. If you have questions about that, you can drop them down in the comments. But with that being said, let's get on. If you've made it this far in the video, when I tell you what I'm about to tell you for the fourth and final thing, do not click off. Stick with me. You've made it this far. I know that you're going to think there's no way I'm doing that. I totally understand, but stick with me, because if you were to integrate this just 3 days a week, it can change your life, okay? And I say that very boldly because there's a mountain of evidence of how this has helped, and it's actually helped horse trainers. It's helped me personally reduce inflammation, better mental clarity, less stress in my life, because the cellular part of my body has been changed. But I've talked with other horse trainers that have had battles with really significant depression, and it's helped them overcome and manage that depression, right? There's so many benefits on the short term that I'm talking here, but there's long-term benefits in reduced risk of cancer. Cancer and sickness and disease thrives on a lack of oxygen and inflammation. And when you do what I'm about to share with you here, it increases your oxygen levels and reduces your inflammation. It is like a key to health and longevity in this. And frankly, if you have those long days in your business or just in life in general, and you're like, oh man, I really don't want to have to do this thing. If you start your day by doing this, it makes doing those difficult things that you know you need to do so much easier. And so what exactly am I talking about? Is I'm talking about taking a cold shower or getting in an ice bath. And you're like, oh, I'm clicking off. No, please don't. Like, just stick with me here for a second, because you don't have to just go jump in a cold plunge if you've never done it before. I don't recommend you doing that. When I started doing this back in 2019, almost exactly 5 years ago next month, I started by taking my hot shower and then just creeping the dial back to what felt pretty cold, and doing it for about 30 seconds, right? And going from 30 seconds to a minute and a half to 2.5 minutes, because the sweet spot is being able to be in that cold water for at least 3 minutes, but it doesn't have to be more than 6 minutes, all right? And there's a lot of these people out there that you watch that do cold plunges, and they got their ego involved in it, and they're like, I want to get in it when it's 22 degrees, and it's like, you're like, you know, and there's just chunks of ice floating on top. And there's an element of like, if you're somebody that thrives on doing difficult things, then certainly you can work your way towards being able to handle colder and colder temperatures. But one thing that's really interesting is that there's a temperature that's acceptable, which is between 48 and 52 degrees. All right. And if you've never done a cold shower or a cold plunge or anything, that's going to sound really cold, and it's going to feel cold in the beginning. But when you start doing it, you're going to find out how, frankly, easy it does become. And so 48 to 52, if you're somebody that isn't that glutton for punishment like myself, where I do like those challenges, and I like to take on the difficulty that comes along with colder water and stuff like that, then you don't have to. You can, as long as you're doing you work your way up to doing 3 to 6 minutes and 48 to 52 degrees, you're gonna get a lot of the optimal benefits of, I could do a whole video just on cold plunge and just on the benefits that come with it, because in my family, particularly like cancer is pretty rampant, and some other health issues are pretty rampant. And this is kind of my way in the long term of offsetting those things. But as a horse trainer and as a horse professional, we got a ranch. There's a lot of physical work that goes into that, and I want to be able to my body gets a lot of wear and tear, and so the cold plunge has been one of the best things to get my mind and my body feeling better. And even emotionally, like when I started doing this in 2019, our business was growing very rapidly, and I had a lot of stress on my shoulders, and I honestly got that feeling. I had a 45-minute drive from the barn back to the house every day. And on the way back, I was like usually so stressed out. I was like, I just want like a glass of bourbon. And alcoholism runs pretty rampant in our family. I'm like double bread, top and bottom for that. And when I started going like, I just want to have this, I was like, that's a problem, because my brain was looking for a coping mechanism to reduce the stress and to kind of numb some of that stuff away. And that's about the time when I started really facing that. I was like, I know I can't do that, because that's going to put me down a bad path. And I have a very high energy, addictive personality as it is. And so that's when I really started leaning into working out, doing the cold showers. And within 2 weeks, I promise, like within 2 weeks, my body was, I'd be driving home and it's like, and I was just doing a cold shower first thing in the day. Like I'd get up in the morning, work out, do that. And if you really want to optimize, if you're really trying to optimize things, then you do the cold plunge or the ice, this cold shower first, then go work out. They've proven through some studies that that is the best optimal way to get the results, which is pretty counterintuitive to a lot of what a lot of us have been taught growing up. But that's how I do it. And I'll be driving back from the barn. And when I was coming back from the barn, my body would start craving a cold shower. And here's the reason why. I figured it out after, which is when you're in that cold shower, when you're in that ice bath, you have to focus on being present. You have to tune out everything else around you. And that's what my mind wanted, right? My brain was stressed out. And so those cold showers gave me a meditative place to go, because if I lost focus, I'd start getting cold. So I had to stay really focused on actually staying warm in that cold shower. And when I stayed focused on that cold shower there, then I could reduce the stress around the daily life. And so there's so much that goes into this, guys, but go take that cold shower, right? It can absolutely change your life. With that being said, guys, we're going to wrap this video up. My little kitty partner's here. She's ready for her breakfast this morning. Maybe you guys will meet her at some point. And if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to let us know. Drop down in the comments any questions that you might have, any video requests that you have. If you want to see more videos, if you don't want to see more videos like this, let me know. We're trying something new. But at the end of the day, horsemanship's not just what we do, it's how we do it. And it's not just, it's everything we do in our day-to-day lives. And so the better that we take care of ourselves, the better we can take care of our horses, our family, our community, and everyone around us. So with that being said, y'all, you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.